I'm Eric Novak, and coming up on this review, I'm going to take a look at the all-new 5th generation 2018 Honda Odyssey. So look at the marketplace today, and SUVs are still all the rage, but you know what? For large families and those who are looking for great versatility in a family hauler, nothing beats a minivan. There's a few companies that still recognize this. Maybe once upon a time, 20 years ago, there was as many as 25 or more different variants of minivans. Now you've got maybe half a dozen at most. Honda has been fortunately one of the companies that has always understood the need and value of a minivan. And for 2018, they're set to launch their 5th iteration of the Honda Odyssey. This is a great family hauler, and for a great family trip, they've brought us out here to beautiful Prince Edward Island, the birthplace of Canada's Confederation, to take a look at the Odyssey on a great picturesque setting. I'm excited to get out and drive this new Odyssey. Let's see how it is. So minivans really aren't designed in terms of drive to be performance vehicles. This is not something that's going to get you 0 to 100 or 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4 or 5 seconds. Actually, I believe it's about 7.4 seconds on this 3.5 liter V6 direct injected engine. In fact, it's the same engine that's borrowed from the newer Honda Pilot. It's going to get you 280 horsepower, 262 pound-feet of torque. That's about a 30% improvement over the previous generation, but it actually matches in fuel economy. You're looking with either a 9-speed or 10-speed automatic transmission. The top-end Touring does have a 10-speed. It's a in-house design, Honda's first ever in-house automatic transmission design. You will get about 10.6 on the 9-speed automatic, or 10.7 liters per 100 kilometers combined fuel efficiency. It's about on par for what it was in the previous generation. Why isn't it better? Well, I mean, there's been a reduction of weight depending upon the trim level with this vehicle, but then there's been some added features, so it kind of balances overall. So it's certainly a good engine, and it's a reliable form of transportation. It's not going to wow your socks off, but with a minivan, it's really about practicality, and this fits the bill. Perhaps one of the biggest changes that we see in minivans from the origins of Lee Iacocca days to today is in the amount of technology and innovation that we see for families and for things like entertainment, such as that. The center console here on this 2018 Odyssey has got a number of noticeable added features to it. One of my favorites is something called cabin watch. Now, with old minivans, many of us as parents are used to dropping down the little bent mirror so you can glance at them through the back. But on the touring trim of this Odyssey, there's something called cabin watch. And what it is above the center console is an infrared camera that works day and night, and basically from the camera up top, you basically get to see what's going back there. And in my case, you see my camera and my junk as we're driving along. But flip it back and you can get back to your main screen. Also available, you have rear entertainment settings. You have cabin talk. It is a feature that we've seen it in, you can even hear the feedback. If the kids are turn it off here, back to home. If kids are in the back, instead of screaming, don't let me come back you to the third row, or they can't hear, or if they have their headphones on, pressing cabin talk of your voice through the speaker system, will they be heard in the third row, or they'll hear it in their headphones. Kind of like being on a plane when the captain comes to talk. This is your captain speaking. This is mom or dad speaking here. Behave in the back. All the connectivity for Android and Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, a lot of interesting features, but overall there's way more connectivity and enjoyment features. You can certainly move around much like an iPad. You can have program playlists. You can even move around some of your settings connected to your iPhone or your Android. There's Honda Link. There's now the availability of a LTE 4G Wi-Fi hotspot as well. So overall, in terms of being better suited for those long drives, this new Honda Odyssey has made a lot of improvements. All right, if you've driven a minivan, if you've had kids in it, you know what can happen sometimes. They can get into tussles, shall we say. Maybe you hear the argument, oh, they're too close, they're touching me, or what do we do? Well, Honda's come up with a bit of an innovative solution to maybe separate the two. Well, they actually separate the two. It's their magic seats, and it's quite simple, actually. It is a chair that slides laterally, and all you have to do is basically pull a handle across and you separated the kids, removing fights. Now it has other beneficial purposes, of course. It allows for much easier access, especially if you have a child seat, baby seat in this here. It would make it difficult to enter around the front and to the back, but by moving the magic seat back in a bit, you can have easier access. So it's maybe one simple little type of an adjustment of a seat with multiple benefits to it. In the 40 years or so that we've seen the minivan as an automobile option, we've seen an awful lot of changes. The Caravan and Plymouth Voyager of the Iacocca fame looks nothing and functions nothing like the minivans of today. That's a good thing to see adaptation. Minivans have had their highs and lows in terms of popularity, but there still is a legitimate, viable marketplace segment for vehicles of this kind for families like my own who require a large amount of space for both passengers, functionality, family needs. As for this 2018 Honda Odyssey, this 5th generation has done a lot of good things. I really like some of the new technology involved, the added connectivity, the ability to speak to your kids in the back without having to yell. That camera too, that infrared camera, is going to be quite handy because you never know what goes on in that third row. And other features, that sliding magic seat, believe me, it's going to be magic, and you know what it's like if you've had kids fighting or anyone fighting in that middle row. It's going to be quite handy. Now, if there's something I don't necessarily like about it right now, I really do wish that we would have seen a hybrid variant option offered with this 5th generation Odyssey. As we've seen with the Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid, there really is a marketplace for it. It's being really well received. Now, I know Honda has made commitments for 2/3 of its fleet to be electrified within a few years, and I know that a hybrid Odyssey does exist in Asia, so I'm hopeful we'll see a similar hybrid or maybe a plug-in hybrid variant coming soon. I mean, if they have an Acura MDX hybrid available now, why can't we have it here? I'm optimistic we'll see so in the next couple of years or so. But in the meantime, the borrowed 3.5-liter V6 engine from the Pilot does run pretty fuel efficient, and with an increase in power, it's not too bad. I'm still optimistic about better things ahead in the future. Overall, though, this is a strong competitor in this viable minivan segment, and I think it's going to be here for quite a while to come. But that's it for this report from beautiful Prince Edward Island, Canada's birthplace of Confederation. For EnviroDad.com, I'm Eric Novak. Thank you for watching.
So pile your boots up in the corner, hang your jacket from the door. There's 30 people in the kitchen. There's always room, yeah, there's always room. Oh, oh, come on now, don't lock the world outside. Oh, oh, come on, I tell you now, she's going up.
There's plenty of ways for you to keep connected with me, so check out some of my social media links, suggested videos, and I'd really love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel.